I'm well supplied this morning. 2 cups.
No, I have the other cup.
Oh yeah?
Well, we can split it.
You lied.
Bananas. I got this whole bunch for you.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
All right, so I know a bunch of you are afraid of sanding, so this is your trigger warning. If you don't want to see sanding, you should turn this off now, because there will be sanding involved. So this is all the 2K stuff that we did 3 weeks ago, I think. Maybe?
Yep.
So Pops is going over that with 400. And we just ran into this case here where this black line we thought was a tape line or something, but it's actually epoxy that got over here, and the 2K didn't get over there, so that's epoxy sticking through, and we can't send it off. Pops tried there, and you can see that didn't work. This, Wendell, if you're watching, this was the question that I was asking you about when you painted your car, like when you're doing these edges here, and for anybody else, when you do the soft edge here, that's my concern, is when we come along and spray the outside and spray sealer, do you end up with this kind of thing where the sealer went further than the paint, and then you have this sealer line in there, and then how do you get rid of that? And it may be that just, you know, this would have been finished paint underneath, and therefore you just sand it off and it goes away. You don't have to worry about it, but I don't know. But that's one of the things I've never seen anyone explain. When you paint the jams, when you come around to paint the outside, how do you protect from sealer getting in there and then leaving a line there? That I don't know. Anyway, that was an aside, but so Pops is working on that. The whole butt end of the car here, all the way to the bottom. Pops is not going to go to the bottom there. He says he doesn't sand the underside of the car. He uses his age as an excuse. Anyway, so he's working on that. All of these jams need to be sanded. This is with 400, so this, if it weren't for this, basically, hopefully we would have been done here, but now we're going to have to come over this with 2K one more time. So he's being real ginger, right? And we're just trying to make sure there's no scratches in the surface. It's all the body work's done, so we're just trying to make sure everything's level. And there'll be a few places like right here, maybe you can see there's a little divot right there, little pits, you know, stuff like that. We'll have to put filler in. The glazing putty, rather. Anyway, so that's that. In the meantime, I'm coming over here to work on the firewall, and what I'm going to do, we originally talked about just basically leaving this thing alone and just spraying it, but after we spent so much time on the jams, then we decided that's not really kosher. So what I'm going to do is come along here and try and tap down all these high spots in these spot welds, and then try and level this thing out as best as I can. Again, not looking for perfection, but at least try and get it somewhat level here. So I'll tap all this stuff down to where it's relatively level, put some filler on there probably, and then we'll see from there. And these little ripples here, maybe I'll try and get those out with the hammer and dolly. I don't know, we'll see. There's this big dent here you can see. This is where the car got hit from the side, and this whole thing got a little wonked here. Yeah, and then that big crater right there, I think that just pulled the spot weld out or something. I know it's always been that way, so I'm just going to put some fiberglass in that. Most of this is covered up by the windshield. I don't have a windshield, so I don't exactly know where it goes, but I'm pretty sure it comes right about through here, if I'm not mistaken. So this part would be visible right there at the very bottom. This probably isn't, but I'm going to cover it up anyway. And stuff like these little guys, I'll just leave those because those should be inside the windshield. And then as you can see, when we stripped the firewall, we got a ton of scratches in it. So once all this stuff is done here, then I'm gonna sand all this stuff down and put feather fill. I don't know why I can never remember the term feather fill. I always have to think about it. Feather fill, slick sand, whatever. Spray on poly to fill in all those sanding scratches everywhere. Same thing on the firewall here. It's a little harder to see here, but same thing. There's little scratches and things in here. So clean all of this stuff up. We need light coming from the side over here. Yep. We have these lights in the back here that we just added, but it doesn't really do much for the firewall here, surprisingly. I'll have to get out that side light here so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Anyway, And last time Pops and I were out here last weekend, we didn't actually get any work done really, but we moved the list over there. Yes, still sanding. And we made a new list. So that list over there was mostly mechanicals with a little bit of bodywork stuff. This one is primarily bodywork stuff that we have to do. So that top line, there you go. That's what I'm working on. There's the list. You can see the list. So still a bunch of stuff to do there. This list should get us pretty close to being done with the body. And just about ready for paint, I think. That's pretty close. And like I said, most of this stuff over here is mechanicals. So there's a lot of mechanicals to be done there. And for Harry, if you're watching, the conversations we were having about the wiring harness to just try and give you an idea of what I was talking about with this thing. So if you look at the octopus here, sorry, this is hard to do. So this is the ECM here. And so the discussion was how much stuff can you have on one side of the firewall versus the other. And the problem with this one is the ECM portion of the harness goes all the way up here until where it branches off. And then after that branch here is where you have the fuse box. And it's already split off to the fuel rails and other things. So you can't put all of this behind the firewall easily because this has to be right here. You can see it's attached, so I can't pull that really any further back. So that has to be right there, which means the only part of this that can fit through the firewall is this part of the harness. And then all this stuff is left on the other side of the firewall. Unless, of course, you cut all of this stuff apart and then move everything, which I don't really feel like doing. So we're not planning on doing that. What do I do with the grommet? Did I put it back over here? I think I did. Yeah, here it is. So this is the grommet that I ordered. This is from Spear Tech, you know, like spear, throw a spear. They sell these things for $10. And this is what I was gonna put right there. So that was for this guy. And I was hoping I'd be able to shove the pigtails or whatever through there. There's no way in hell. So I ended up having to split this. And then that can just fit right over the line like that, basically, right? So that works. I couldn't find a better grommet out there. There's one more on Summit I'm going to get, which is a 3-inch OD split grommet. I'm going to get one of those and maybe that'll work better. But anyway, that fits right there pretty nicely. So, or like that, right? Whatever. And then the other part of the harness that has the throttle and not that, the throttle and the OBD sensor or connector. I think we're going to end up running it through this over here and then into the car that way because that's a really long harness. So that one should be okay. And then the fuse block we're going to try to keep outside, probably on that fender well over there. We'll see. So basically just that's really the troublesome one. And then this one over here is a lot simpler to work with. So, and this same thing will work over here. I think. I gotta double check that, make sure that's not going to cause me any problems, but it should be good. All right. Is that enough rambling?
Yeah.
All right. So if anybody has any input on what I just said, let me know. And if you're frightened of sanding or you've had enough of sanding, then turn it off right now. All right, so this is going to be my process here. Flat sanding block and just go along, look for the high spots and then tap them down. I'm going to use the body hammer here with the pick hand on it and tap those down. And so I don't want to take a big flat surface like a spoon or something here because I don't want to twist this whole thing because that'll push this out here and then it'll mess up all the body work we did down here. So I'm just going to try and hopefully tap those down without causing a bunch of ripples down here, but we'll see. It'll come out how it comes out. So it's all pretty flat right there, as you can see from the body work we did before. So I'd really not like to mess that up. All right, start right in here. That doesn't want to move. Starting to go down. You need your earplugs back there?
No.
Firewall still looks good down here. Looks like anything's moved. We're starting to hit here now. You can see that in the camera there. See here now, making contact all the way through here. So that might be good enough. I'll get the straight edge out and see how much that stuff is sticking up, but it's probably okay like that. All right, let's see if we can do something about those ripples there. Don't hammer with my right hand, that's the rule.
Huh?
I said don't hammer with my right hand, I just beat the snot out of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Bend that back up. Push that down too far. Let's see here. That's okay. Alright, now I need to sand that down with some aggressive sandpaper so the fiberglass filler has something to stick to. Yeah, who knows. This is kind of an old pad, so we'll start with this, and I also have some 80 I can use. Yeah, just continue across the whole thing like that. Alright, we've gone through with 80 grit here, tried to get all the shiny spots off. Hopefully we did. So I'm going to run a coat of fiberglass, short strand fiberglass on here, and plus these areas here. Alright, there you go. So I'd done a trick, I don't know if it showed earlier or not, but all these holes, I put a tape underneath it sticking out so that I knew where all those holes were, and when I peeled the tape back off, it actually opened up most of these holes pretty well, except for the tiniest ones that didn't work. And I thought there was a hole there where there wasn't, so I have to come back and fill that, but that worked pretty well. Then I took a drill bit or something and just cleaned out the holes a little bit. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad. And I put this tape here just to preserve that edge there, but I didn't really mess it up too bad, except maybe in a couple of places. So I'll just take a screwdriver and just scratch that off there to get a nice straight edge there again. Leave this on here to protect the metal underneath while I'm working on it. And Pops has been working away on the back. I keep joking with him that he must like sanding because he keeps busting through the metal. And of course, every time we do that now we have to go epoxy it again. But it's looking pretty good. Most of it's coming out pretty straight. Just came out nice here, so that's good. Yeah, so he's still working his way around. Alright, let's see how flat we are. Talking to the camera.
Okay.
Not too bad. This stuff's still a little wet, so it's you can see hopefully you can see the high spots and low spots there. Pretty level. Let's see, we're a little high here still. Probably too low right there. Might be okay. It's not too bad for the first wipe. It's pretty good. Feels relatively straight, except for in here. Alright, keep sanding. Alright, that's the result of that first wipe. You can't see the low spots anymore because I got in there with the sandpaper and sanded them out, but make sure the next coat will stick. We'll put another wipe of short strand on here, see how it goes. It's a pretty big crater right here. Not sure how well that's going to come out, but we'll see. Alright, that's the second coat of short strand, and we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to go ahead and put a wipe of Rage Gold, or Rage Ultra, whatever I have back there, over all of this. Alright, there we go. I don't know how well that's going to come across. If you can see any shine on that or not. That's fairly flat. I think that'll be okay. Not too bad. I'll show you around the back. So, thanks. So Pops and I switched to red Scotch-Brite back here because the sanding blocks are just knocking all the paint off the corners. And that worked a lot better. The red Scotch-Brite's theoretically around 320 grit, so that's about right anyway. All this is done back here now. So this is, all of this is basically 320, 400 kind of range. So I'm gonna have to come back and hit this again with some epoxy and stuff to cover up the bare metal spots. And then put some more 2K over that. But we're gonna try not to do that. It's so hard to sand this stuff without breaking through. The 2K is so thin. So do this, maybe Pops will start on this next time, I don't know, we'll see. I'll keep working on this. And then of course the front of this still needs to be done, but we're getting there, slowly but slowly. Anyway, so that's gonna do it. Any famous last words?
No, we did good.
Pops is cleaning the cans again.
Yep.
Cleaning the cans, what am I saying? Cleaning the spreader. Using the cans.
Yes. You're tired, though.
Yeah, I am tired. LS. Alright, that's going to do it for today. We'll catch you guys on the next one. If anybody has any thoughts, comments on grommets and all that other stuff we talked about, let me know. Thanks.